One thing that was going on this week is a little bit of a controversy is the Marvel VFX conversation. And this is big on Twitter. Thor Love and Thunder has just released and all that kind of stuff. Ryder, why don't you tell me a little about this tweet kind of is spearheading the conversation right now in this article that was written. So can you read the tweet for me? What do we got?
Yes, this comes from a VFX artist working with Marvel previously. They said working on Marvel shows is what pushed me to leave the VFX industry. They're a horrible client, and I've seen way too many colleagues break down after being overworked while Marvel tightens the purse strings.
Yeah.
Interesting to hear. That's sad to hear.
It's tough in there. So this article comes from The Gamer. And I pulled out a couple quotes here, just from different Redditors and people that were interviewing and stuff like that. So here's what we got. The first quote basically is, on Thor, they asked to complete a mini sequence 2 or 3 weeks before the deadline. And this quote also comes from a different person. He says, I'm on my third Marvel project in a row. I literally just woke up at 5:30 a.m. on a Saturday with stress going, quote, I don't want to do this anymore. It's 6 a.m. now, and I'm making a reel to apply someplace that has projects other than Marvel because I cannot do this anymore. What else do we have that was said in the article?
Right here, okay, I'm on my third Marvel project in a row and literally just woke up at 5:30
No, we just
a.m.
did
on
that
a
one.
Saturday.
Next one.
Oh, you said that? I'm so sorry. I was thinking, I'm thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
Bad. Okay, Mickey Moon shared a particularly shocking account of their time working with the studio. Marvel has seen grown men punch walls and throw monitors from stress. I broke down a couple of times and have seen the strain it can put on marriages. But hey, the money was fantastic. F Marvel as a client, the credit name is not effing worth it. Crazy. And then lastly, right here, it took me over 6 months to recover from WandaVision's crunch. It's not worth it. Not when there's better run projects that look just as good out there.
And so that comes into the conversation here, Ryder. There's a lot of now. I'm not gonna feed into either one of these. I hate the mindset of Twitter that's, oh, Marvel just looks bad, everything looks terrible, like blah blah blah. There are some things that I don't think look good, but that's really not the argument here, is whether things look good or bad. It's the unreasonable asks that Marvel is giving their VFX studios to complete, right? That's kind of
and that goes into reasoning of kind of the over pushing of content that we've seen. Like, as someone who is, I've very publicly said I'm a huge Marvel fan.
Yeah.
The amount of content, I am getting worried watching this much, because for any studio to be putting out shows and movies nonstop, it's like, how is this possible, right? Like, you have crews working, and I just heard Black Panther so wrapped in February and is expected to have a post-production for 7 months and release in November.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem healthy, right? To be pushing this out so much. And I think, give it delays, give it time, and start spacing this stuff out more.
Yeah.
So that way there's better quality and there's better assurances of kind of mental health for these workers.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's huge. That's huge. If people are not happy, you got to think of this. If there's this many people coming out and talking about how they're so unhappy working on Marvel movies, even though Marvel movies are like the most watched movies right now, like in the world, when they release, everybody watches them, and they're still like, something must be really wrong. Something must be very, very wrong with this. So it's super disheartening to hear the VFX artists talk about this and stuff like that. Because again, I'm not worried if it looks like, you can have your opinion on whether the new stuff looks good or bad, but that's not the point of this. The point of this is there needs to be a schedule of things. I'm sure there is a schedule, but this guy's saying that they're asking for a complete a whole sequence
overhaul of something. Yeah.
Just 2 weeks before a deadline, right?
It's like, no,
yeah.
And I was telling you this analogy earlier. It's like it's like watching the baby that you love kind of slowly walk toward a pool, and you're like, I can't save them because they gotta learn. And it's like, no, maybe there's a breaking point. I don't know, but it's just sad because you care so much about it.
I mean, just to do another thing, there is Taika was in a Vanity Fair interview yesterday, 2 days ago, where he's looking at the VFX with Tessa Thompson and says, does this look real? Does this look real? And I'm just like, it's just kind of tone deaf that that this is coming out at a time when the people that worked on this movie are so upset with the amount of time that they had to spend on this and the deadlines that were not reasonable. And you're here asking oh, does this look good? I don't know. To a public audience, and your movie just came out. I don't know. That was a tough one for me. And there was one more thing that I was gonna bring up, but now I'm
but was it about Taika? Because there was a scene too, but this isn't really VFX, about how he didn't even notice the clip because he probably hasn't even watched the whole clip run out, where Tessa Thompson was like, well, this is funny. Here's a scene here where you notice I get jumped because you woke up from a nap. and you scared me during the scene, and you didn't cut that. And
What?
you see Tessa Thompson like flinch in the movie,
Yeah,
and he's like, they crack up because like I feel like they shoot scenes, they cut the beginning and they cut the end, and they throw it on the timeline, and
that's it.
they're not watching. They're not
See,
watching. They're just trying to
and
get the edit done.
that's what I was gonna bring up too. Is that Taika has said multiple times like that he didn't know like this. This again. This is not a problem with Taika. This is not a problem with Taika. It's
No,
like
no.
I get it. When you're using all these VFX things, you can change major things in the scene. That you
Yeah.
don't have to film, but it's the expectation that like he has a couple quotes where he's like, "Oh, this could change, like this could change or whatever. We're just gonna shoot it and like this could change later." It's not like that's a bad mindset because I guess like these movies
That's how
are
it
made in post and
works.
stuff.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just have to give the people enough time and enough money and enough like they
Yeah.
can't be crunched to
Time.
put that out, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I really, it's tough. Yeah, and just like you said, the outpouring of content. There's just so much content for
Mhm.
this, and it's not stopping. It's not slowing down.
Yeah, and then that's the crazy thing is like SGCC and D23. I keep saying, what more are they going to announce, or what are they going to say with the schedule, right? Like
Yeah,
delays or anything, or if anything more and sooner. Like
yeah.
that's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be kind of like, don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt
Exactly.
yourself now.
Don't
Watch it.
and don't hurt yourself and the
Yeah,
hundreds of people that work on your movies, thousands of people that work
yeah,
on your
yeah.
movies.
As a whole. Yep, I agree.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening. I'm sure there will be a much more talk about the VFX and just all that good stuff at Marvel happening. Well, good and bad stuff. And you can stay right here on Strictly Casual for all the updates. If you want to listen to the entire podcast, you can go for free on audio platforms. Check that out. Just type in Strictly Casual Freeze Frame or Freeze Frame Strictly Casual on any audio platform, and we'll be there. Or if you want to become a member, you can watch the whole video podcast right here on youtube.com/strictlycasual. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you on the next one.